It's like,
Do you do the reverse? Do you look at matches now and go, man, I give that 4.25, but that really is a 5-star match now?
no. I mean, I think that if anything, I think it's actually harder, but there's more of them because you have, you know, back then, it was wrestlers had a different mentality in the sense of now they know it's like the mentality of going into a show used to be, there wasn't as much drive to put on this incredible match, which has, and believe me, that has its good and its bad because like, again, when I watch an AEW big show, just an example, I feel like there's so many risks and it scares me, like one risk is in, like WWE, you might get one big risk spot in the match and it's memorable and everything like that. But when there's so many, like when I watch a Darby or Sammy Guevara or somebody like that, and it scares me, like and that's one of the reasons why also the matches are, getting these great crowd reactions because they're working for crowd reactions.
Sure.
And the crowd does react to it. And younger, hungrier guys are going to do crazier and crazier things. And we've seen that. And, it's good and it's bad.
Was there a point in the 2000s when it was, you were tougher on ratings? Because I think in the 2000s, 2000 to 2010, you only had 7 5-star matches for that entire decade.
I didn't think there were as many great the matches.
Did you just not watch TNA? I'm just so curious.
Oh, TNA! I watched TNA religiously.
Oh man,
I watched every TNA pay-per-view. There were all kinds of 4-star matches back then, and I actually, if you look back on that, the different, you'll see it. 5-star match is like, I mean, to me, 5-star match even today should be like, okay, this is probably going to win match of the year. And when I look at that, back then, I mean, like now, there's more because it's just like there's so much and it gets over so big in the sense of, because guys are working for that.
Yeah.
They're, but even now, I mean, there's, I'm going to hear a lot more about, this match should be 5 stars. And it's like, to me, it's like, if I don't think that this is going to be somewhere pretty damn high in the ballot for match of the year, then it's not a 5-star match, especially now, or even then. I mean, granted, there were years that the 4.75 or 4.5-star matches won match of the year, and that would never, well, that could happen now too, because again.
But what about the list of people who never had 5-star matches?
I'm sure
you're familiar with the people.
I don't even worry about it because it's like.
But like, these are legends: Eddie Guerrero, Triple H, Randy Savage, Kurt Angle, and it's crazy. Rob Van Dam.
How many 4-star matches? It's 4 stars is what you should be looking at, not 5. 5 means like it's a completely different animal.
But then you got someone like Kenny Omega who has 10 5 or better matches.
Yeah. So.
But then if you're like, well, 4s are what matters, then
4s is what matters. I mean, like, hey, Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay and Misawa, those guys.
Yeah.
They're freaking incredible. I mean, They're incredible. They're incredible. And they were put in positions to have those matches where most of these guys, Kurt, as an example, I mean, if Kurt was put in a position with a Misawa, if that's the guy, or maybe a Kobashi or whatever, I mean, he did with Chris. And like I said, I came close with but it's like, I've always thought Kurt Angle was great. He's got tons of 4-star matches, 4.5-star matches, whatever. 4-star match with Matt Morgan. But it's like, the reason he doesn't have a 5, it's what, am I biased against him? I probably voted for him in the Hall of Fame years early. It's just, it's a certain match. And maybe he never had the perfect opponent. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. It's not, I don't like think and go like, oh, he's Kurt Angle, he deserves one. And nobody deserves one. When people go like, why isn't this match 5 stars? I always like, man, it's like, it's like, what didn't it have? And it's like, if it's over 4, it had it.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about 5 has to be when this thing's over, I'm going like,
yeah,
this, if it was in the past, I would go, this will win match of the year. And now it's got to be, man, this should be talked about for match of the year. And even 4.75 means it should be talked about. And a 5 now would be a match where I would go like, this would have won match of the year every, most years when I was a kid.
But I mean,
Because
WWE's had 9 in their entire history.
yeah.
AEW
And
has had
see,
21 in 4 years.
AEW's wrestlers work much harder to in that style. CMLL, which is my favorite style of wrestling, by the way, or was. I mean, I like all styles. See, how many CMLL have?
I don't know. I'd have to pull that stat up.
I'd say it might be. It might. I don't know. It might be 0. And I mean, and because the CMLL style that I love is not something conducive. It's absolutely conducive to.
I think it is 0. Yeah.
Okay, well, there you go. My favorite style from childhood.
Wow.
Okay, and the reason is because the CMLL style is conducive to 4-star matches, but there's something that makes a 5-star match that their style is not conducive to. And I would say the same thing about WWE's style in general, although there are exceptions. Sometimes it just the right thing and the right magic happens, and it is that. But NXT had that all the time. I would give there's many NXT matches because NXT.
I think there's 9.
Well, then there's your answer, and that's the same company, but it's the style that they're working for. The WWE, the NXT style was a lot more based on, like what we talked about, trying new things.
Taking risks.
Taking not necessarily injury risks, but trying new things, or just going and giving guys more time in main events, or matching guys up that are going to deliver a great match, which was part of that thing. Whereas with WWE, that's you're doing feuds, and you're doing it's just a different thing. It's not really conducive. It's like it's not as conducive to a 5-star match.
It's really not conducive to the style of match that you like, right?
It's no,
I mean, New Japan has 82 5-star or better.
Yeah,
matches.
well, that 82. I mean, I know, and
TNA has 1.
Yeah,
WWE has 9. Like, it just seems like there's a certain style of match that you prefer, and that's
well, I mean,
totally
the way that they build in climax. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.